I'm Dr. Akilah Cadet, and this is Humane Rights, a show that flips the traditional talk show on its head. This isn't about debate, it's about dialogue. Each episode, I invite guests from different walks of life to unpack the messy, beautiful realities of being human. Welcome to Humane Rights, where being human is the ultimate act of resistance. Hey.
Hey.
Hi.
What's up?
What's
No
up?
spotlight? No, nothing.
You know, I think the beauty about me is that I'm just real. So, welcome to Humane Rights.
Fantastic. No 60 minutes ticker.
No ticker, none of that. It's just, I am so excited to have this conversation with you, Rafa. So, welcome to Humane Rights. Welcome to my studio. You get to be the first virtual guest. So, does that make you special?
I think
Absolutely.
so.
Yeah, 100%. You are. You're
Notice,
one
like,
of my.
I don't even have to wait for an answer. I'm like, yes, I am.
Yes. And this is what we call confidence. And this is what we call why we're friends.
Gotta
Which is
have.
important to note because you really are one of my favorite people.
Oh,
But before we get into how much you are one of my favorite people, I would love for you to just introduce yourself to the world. Let them know who you are. And fun thing that you probably don't get to do all the time, do an image description. Let them know what you're wearing, what's behind you, because we have a
oh,
wide range of,
sure.
yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. My name is Rafael Casal. I'm a Bay Area original. I am currently wearing a semi-cropped, like blue t-shirt, like oversized t-shirt. I
Okay.
have two posters behind me, one of Blind Spotting the movie, which I created with my bestie David Diggs. Next to that is a poster, an alternate poster for that same movie that we never released, which is the one that I loved more. And then
I love
what
that
else
one
is
more
in the back?
too.
I know. And then
Yeah.
this right here is the first time I was in Billboard magazine with my whole cast at Sundance. And so a friend of mine, look, I have commands, isn't that cool? A friend of mine framed it for me. Janina Gavankar, who plays David's girlfriend in the movie, framed that.
Oh,
And
dope.
then I requested the two times we were certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, they'll give you a little trophy. So I put those up. And then down below is a frame from Bad Education, which I did with Hugh Jackman, where we're sitting. And I have a fun story about this frame, which we can talk about later. And then above that are some instruments that my pops brought back from Cuba when he went with my sister when she was 14. Um,
That's dope.
and there's some other little random instruments around. But anyway, that's what's going on in this frame, guys. Hello.
Piano, white piano, brown couch. It looks like things have happened there, like
Yes,
ideas.
yeah, like I've tried to, muster up a novel on that couch and failed.
Well, you haven't failed. Your life isn't over yet,
Life is
so.
still going. Yeah, there's my pair of maracas up there. Yeah, there's stuff going on here.
So, do you want to tell other people why you're also amazing and great?
I don't know.
Or you want me to do it for you?
Yeah, well, you said it.
Okay. Well, you went to this iconic high school in Berkeley, California, where I am right now recording this podcast, right? A lot of incredible things happened there.
Yes, Berkeley
Yeah.
High was a crazy place.
You
It,
are a producer, a writer, a lyricist, a poet, a good person,
oh,
sometimes farmer,
sometimes farmer.
sometimes farmer.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in the arts since I was 13, really. And what's great about the Bay and what's great about where you're sitting right now, Berkeley High, is it's a permission passing place, right?
Yeah.
That tells you, hey, if that's something that you're into, you can probably get really good at it. And because the Bay doesn't have this massive ecosystem of like major entertainment industry, success is about recognition by the community, and so it's achievable. And so people go, yeah, you can be a painter, yeah, you can be a poet, yeah, you
Yeah.
can be a musician, yeah, you can be a filmmaker, because the top of the ladder, there is a top of the ladder here that is like perceivable. And so for me growing up, it was like, all right, I'm gonna start writing, and then I'm gonna start performing the stuff that I write, and I'm gonna start writing longer and bigger stuff and performing it and making it, and then you're producing it, and and then suddenly it's been 20 some odd years and you have all these titles that are jobs And you didn't realize they were separate because it was all one hustle.
Right. Yeah, and it all made sense, which I think is why I really enjoy us because we do so many different things, but it is rooted in storytelling.
Definitely.
So I think you already know this because I already brought it up to you, but Blind Spotting is one of my favorite movies of all time.
So cool.
I saw it 3 times in the theater, and of course, I had to go to Grand Lake Theater to see it one of those times. I had to spend the money all over the bay of where I went to go and see the movie. I think a really important fun fact that you should probably share more, and I would share this every day if I were you, was that you were Barack Obama's favorite movie. You made the list. Like,
Okay. So this was a fun day because I was asleep in bed with my lady, and usually I'm if she's nudging me in the morning, it says I'm late.
yeah,
And she's like shaking me violently. She's like, "You need to wake up." And I was like, "What?" She's like, and I look at my phone before I kind of get like register what she's trying to show me on her phone. I'm like, "Oh my God, why do I have like 180 text messages? Who died? Like what
right,
happened?"
right.
And she like shows me that post of being on his favorite movies of the year list. And
Yeah.
I didn't even know he did lists. They don't
Oh,
tell you in advance. You just find out like
you
everybody
just wake
else.
up. Yeah.
Um, and like I knew that David knew Barack Obama because they performed Hamilton at
The
the
White
White House when
House.
he was doing Hamilton on Broadway.
Casual flex. Yeah.
So maybe later I was like, maybe there was some way that it would get to him that but also he hosts a million people at the White House, and like and somebody tells him everyone's name when he gets there. Like you're supposed to feel like you're
Right.
close to everyone at the White House when they get there because they prepare for that.
Yeah.
But I think when we saw that and saw that family had watched the movie, it sort of was the goal of the film, right? Was to be at a place where people with authority would acknowledge what's happening in cities that sometimes feel forgotten.
Yeah.
And so to know that not only did he see it, but he acknowledged that he saw it and liked it. Like a lot of people, here's the thing: he got away with something because a lot of people haven't seen it, so they don't know how radical it was that he was like, "This is one of my favorite movies of the year." But
So,
knowing what the movie is about and knowing what it's trying to expose the complexity of is wild for a sitting,
on
for a
so
president to be
many
like, hey.
levels. I could not imagine just waking up and just knowing that somehow Barack Obama knows who you are. Like I get David. I understand. I get that. But for you, that's incredible. So I just want to say the next time your lovely lady wakes you up, you could be on another presidential list. You don't know.
Let me tell you, I'm definitely on a current presidential list. It's just not in a good way.
Also
all the
same.
all the things that I post
Also same. Also same. Have you left the country yet?
in the last
Yeah, like since Donald's been in office.
since Donald's been in office, I have not left the country. No. Is
Yeah,
it,
I haven't
is it
either.
nuts? Are people out there just
Well,
going like, "Are y'all okay?"
I mean, there's that, but like I'm a daughter of a retired diplomat, so my
Oh,
father was like, "So listen, don't take your phone, don't be yourself, don't do anything, and then just come back." Because I think it's a real concern when you are someone who's being active about like doing work and talking about how awful Donald is. You don't know what list you could or could not be on. So I'm not trying to shake the table, and that's a Real Housewife. Or is that a Love and Hip Hop? That's a Love and Hip Hop, I think.
shake the
Quote.
table.
I'm shaking the table. I'm not.
The
I
intersection
don't
of
want
those two worlds.
to. Right.
Is that Real Housewives or
The
Love and Hip
real
Hop?
or Love and Hip Hop. What does being said that? But
Don't worry, those are
um,
not channels next to each other.
but it tells you a little bit about me and my life. I live in the trap, but I'm also a doc, so there's a lot of things there. But no, I like in all seriousness, we have to be mindful because we are seeing so many things happening in the world right now. Like we're obviously seeing with what's happening with ICE. ICE was up here a few weekends ago. A lot of the mayors were like not in our house, which I thought was really, really great to see. But that leads me to one of my favorite questions to ask, and that is, What does humane rights mean to you?
What does humane rights mean to me?
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what I've really, so when I was about like 17, 18, I started touring with poetry a lot, right? And it was the beginning of like a pretty significant divide between friends of mine who never left the Bay and people
Mm-hmm.
who travel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in the Bay and you're raised in a certain kind of progressive politics as the status quo, you have this vernacular around what it means to be increasingly just and to be pushing society towards like a a more morally just world every day. And then you go to other states, you go to other countries, and you realize that like, oh, this advanced vocabulary
Mm-hmm.
is not table stakes here at all. And so there's sort of what I think of as human and humane rights as like as the bare minimum. And
Mm-hmm.
then there is my unfortunately like my sobering reality over the last 20 some odd years of like there are states where we are still just trying to get basic shit that were a part of my upbringing that I didn't even know we had to question
Right.
until I started traveling. And so I think unfortunately like my bar keeps lowering and we have to be very mindful of that, right? And aware of not dropping it so low to accommodate like the most absurd version
Yeah.
of people's discomfort about what it means to push for people to have the basic essentials of a free and just life.
Yeah.
Even that word freedom has gotten really specific for me in the last like 15 years as opposed to my upbringing, because there were freedoms that we didn't question and then now there are freedoms that we have to examine. And
Mm-hmm.
there's almost I almost feel like childlike again because I don't have a vocabulary for debating things on this basic of a level.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think that's beautiful and great. And I think this is a wonderful example of how important it is for us to continually learn and unlearn, right? So I grew up in Sacramento, California. So the land of white people, they were
Shout out
there.
Sacktown, North Campus.
Hey. Oh, hey. But like we were just like, I pledge allegiance to the United States of America every day. We were like doing these things, and now you won't see me stand for anything, honestly, because like you said, we're looking at what do those freedoms mean? Because when you are a kid in high school, maybe even in college, you just feel like you have these opportunities, and you know your family, you know your history or the culture of the place you grew up, and then you realize, like you said, you travel. Like I'm a child of an immigrant, so I have had a passport for my entire life. I can't date anyone who just doesn't even have a passport. It's like what you just how do you like you don't have one or like lapse, like I have to always be like ready to go,
I think lapsing
but
passport is a red flag at this point.
I think lapsing pat right. So Rafa is also team find a kilo partner, which I really appreciate. Thank you so much. So for anyone who likes Rafa more than me and you're single but you like what's happening here, slide in my DMs. Yeah,
Slide
no,
your
but
DMs,
I
yeah.
slide in. I feel like I would be highly recommended from
Highly
you. Like,
recommend. Come on.
yeah, okay, cool. I just want to get on record. Woo. So we have that, but this thing of like really thinking about what our freedoms are, and when we think about where Donald and Co are, because I call him Donald and Co because Donald. When you call people by their first name, it means they don't know what they're doing. So Donald and Co coming in, we're at a point where the shutdown is not happening anymore, where Democrats stood for nothing, and healthcare is under attack, and SNAP benefits will come back, but it's also part of Project 2025. But anyway, go America.
Well, this is that thing, right? Because like we had to do the Pledge of Allegiance too, right?
Right.
It's not like fucking Berkeley schools got to get out of that shit. Like
No, yeah,
you're
I
you're
mean, it
you're
was just the
still
time.
you're still doing this
Yeah.
thing. However,
Yeah.
like the Berkeley school system for me at least was like, yeah, you go to Jefferson, but then you go to Malcolm X, you know, but then you go to Martin Luther King Middle School. Like
Yeah.
there was an understanding that like the
Right.
version of America that we were learning was not one that was sugar-coated
Right.
or understood to be either one thing or the other, but that it was an ideal that was being chased and was often failed. And now we're in this sort of political system, right, where it feels like one party owns the American flag and the other party is like trying to get it back.
Yeah.
Not that it represents all of us in the imperfect version of
Right.
the society, and like that
Right.
that is one of the scariest divides for me, is that like now when I see an American flag, it's not ours. I'm like, oh, that's them.
It's not ours. The American flag to me means slow down or go faster. Like if I see it on a
Don't
truck or
get
a
out of the
car,
car.
don't get out of the car. I'm not welcome here. It means so many things, and it used to not be that. And that's the
Oh,
thing that is like incredibly frustrating about America, because there was a time where I was excited about Fourth of July celebrations. There was a time where things were simple, and I knew about Juneteenth and all of those other things, but I felt like I was also part of America. But
well,
now where I am now, not so much.
they weren't supposed to be at odds, right? Like I remember July
Yeah.
4th, where like, look, I'll say this, like I'm not gonna. You're probably not gonna find too many photos of me in like an American flag tank top. Maybe it's happened once, you know, because somebody provided it.
Right.
But I don't
We
think
all have to try new things.
we have to try new things. Try it on. You're like, this is a little far for me. Um,
Right.
but I don't think there was this aversion with a certain kind of um, uh, national pride, because there was this sense that like while there were problems, we were going in a direction where we were eliminating those problems, and the problem for me was the pace of the
Yeah.
change, right? It was like I'm hearing the vocabulary, but we keep hearing wait a little bit longer, wait, it's coming, wait. And the narrative that I got from the people that I was raised to look up to in terms of political figures, which, let's be clear, like mostly black political figures, the narrative is wait is a bullshit answer.
Right.
What you're gonna wait people into the grave. That seems to be the
Yeah.
plan. And so the political movement that I think we all grew up in was like, hey, we're trying to expedite this process. That's the mission.
Yeah.
And now we're in this very different process, which is like, oh, I didn't realize we were finna backslide. Like, what? We're back. Like, I thought we sort of like generally agreed
Like hard.
that where we were going was the
Yeah.
right direction and you were struggling with your comfort zone, not
Right.
that you like fundamentally wanted the world to be the 1940s.
Right.
Like,
I know.
I don't know.
I
I just
know.
I think we're still reeling with the shock of the conversations that we're having to have, and that's the
Yeah.
place where I'm just constantly uncomfortable because I can't believe how remedial I'm having to be.
Well, the goal is to be comfortable being uncomfortable, right?
Or
Because
not this way
that,
though.
right? I know it's a lot. You're like, so personally, it's just like everything's fucked. And the amount of discomfort, I'm a pro at being comfortable being uncomfortable, but the amount of discomfort is so much that I've had more flares like with my health. I'm thinking about things differently. I have to be careful about where I'm putting my time and energy in spaces or places.
Yeah,
There's just like a lot more that's there. But with that said, I think the one thing that we both do well, but you way better than me, is
got
storytelling,
it.
right? No. But like the power of storytelling. And so you've done and you continually do really great things, but I would love to talk about the Bay List, and
Okay.
how important that is, because it literally is, it's breaking down a lot of systems and structures that don't want to tell our stories.
Yeah, well, it's based on the same idea of the art scene that I grew up on, right? Which is like we have to create our own sort of ceilings and metrics for success. And I think what we haven't had for the filmmaking vertical is a really clear understanding of what it means to have local success as a filmmaker and local acknowledgement to where it like gives you credibility on the home turf. Right? We have that with music to a certain degree. We have that with visual art. We have that with a few other artistic mediums because you can get clout locally for the way that things come out. But film is this thing where you need this abundance of money and funding to create something successful. So the idea for the Bay List is really to create a benchmark of success just for writing the script. That people should know who you are because you've been acknowledged for writing something dope, which doesn't cost any
Right.
money or shouldn't cost very much money at least. And so what I wanted to do with the Bay List was replicate this thing that Franklin Leonard had done in LA with the Blacklist over the last 20 years by creating this massive sort of contest around what are the best unproduced scripts going on in the industry right now. And we know that the Bay Area is all full of all these people who make shit on their own and are looking for a stage for it, and there just wasn't a stage for it. And
Yeah.
so making the Bay List was about making a regionally specific list through the infrastructure of the Blacklist that would get the attention of Deadline in LA, would get the attention of local major press in the Bay Area, would get sort of some industry recognition in the core of the industry in Los Angeles to look at regionally specific lists. And the last thing I'll say about it is the reason that I think that's so important goes back to what we were just talking about politically, which is like if you are from raised in, have spent a significant portion of your life in the Bay Area, it is impossible for you to be unaffected by the Bay Area's um, touch, politics, heart,
Yes.
soul, and I think it has a profound effect on people's art. I just think it does. People who've lived there for a couple of years, when they talk about their time in the Bay, there is a starry-eyed look that they get that feels different from anywhere else. And so I think that secret sauce gets into these scripts and makes them interesting, compelling stories. So the idea was to try to clump those together and go, hey, look over here, look over here. We've done the hard part. We've sifted through the list. Here are 10 that you should read. And so that's what we built. What we've been getting is people now, a bunch of industry people have been requesting those 10 scripts that just got announced. And big, big people, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
I love that so much. And you're welcome of how I tied all those things
You
together.
sure did.
That's
The skills. Look at the skills at play.
But I mean, the reason why it's important to tie all those things together is because these stories help dismantle these oppressive systems and structures, not just film, TV, and industry, but whatever those stories are about representation, just existence, survival. It could be the same boring story we see all the time. Not that any of those are, but with people who look and live like us. So, like, I've been in the Bay for 25 years. I've been here longer than my childhood home. There is no way that I'm not Bay. No one can talk shit about Oakland. No one can talk shit about Sacramento. Like it's equal. That is not happening. I was here for the birth of the hyphy movement. I worked in education at that time. Here I am at Encinal High School. Like you can't ghost ride the whip here, but if you go to the street, you can do that there. Like you cannot do in the parking lot. You don't want this for you. Like you don't want that to happen. But I am not who I am without the Bay Area. So I love that you're able to kind of share this Bay love with folks, and no matter how they're here. And so that leads me to another question I have for you. This one, I feel like I kind of have an answer for, but what are you doing to like bring you joy? With all this stuff that we talked about, what are you doing to find little pockets of
Oh
joy?
yeah. Well, it's so funny. Like I was about to hop on here with you, and um, every time I'm about to do a podcast, doesn't matter who it is. I'm explaining to my lady was in the kitchen. She's like, "Oh, what do you have today?" I was like, "Oh, I got to do this podcast, but it's with the homie." So, my
Yeah,
general like, I don't want to do podcast thing. Like, I'm not feeling that because
yeah,
it's gonna be fun. But I
yeah.
fucking hate doing podcasts. And she's like, "Well, yeah, but you love to talk about art with smart people. That's why you're doing it." And I was like, I do love to talk about art with smart people.
Oh my
so,
gosh, I
so
just got so many compliments. I just want to say thank you.
yeah, but like that, but that's my like, so that like I realize that like I nowadays I lean into craft conversations with people and
Yeah.
why conversations with people because they're like uplifting and exciting for me because I'm like, oh right, I get to dig into why I've been doing this thing for over 2 decades and why it's really important to do now. So there's that part of my life which is like not about actually making the art but like talking to artist friends about why we're doing things and how we're doing things is like nerdy and fun for me in a way that I think is just solidified as a thing I want to do for the rest of my life. And then you know this but some people don't know this. I got really into animals. I got really
You did.
I got really into I got really into horses the last 5 years. So there is a backstory here. Like there was a horse thing going on in my childhood also, right? Like my grandfather, who was from like he's like from Kentucky, but he lived like way up north by Shasta, in like north, like for real Northern California. Like we think we're Northern California, but there's like another 7 hours.
Yeah.
Other,
Right.
so he lived in a mobile home with his wife, my other grandmother up there. And but up there, the land was so cheap, so he always just had shit, right? Like he was a bartering motherfucker. Like he always just like, oh yeah, I came up on this car because somebody owed me some money. I'm like, I don't understand how your life works, but bet. And so he always had like two horses, like in a small, like self-made fence behind the mobile home, and then he had a membership to like a ranch nearby, which was like a way for people to like share a bunch of horses, so it didn't cost a lot of money. So growing up, we'd go up there and he'd throw you on a horse, and he was just like a cowboy, this is my Irish side of the family. Like he's an old school Marlboro cigarette,
Yeah.
cowboy hat, like all this like silver jewelry with, you know what I'm saying? Like when you go in someone's house, I don't know if you've been in a house like this, but they just got horse shit everywhere. It's a horse lamp. They got a horse wallet.
I grew up in Sacramento.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But he was one of those, right? And so we grew up getting on horses there, and then he passed away, and was like, I don't know anybody who has horses in the Bay. Like you gotta, if you do it anywhere around there, you gotta have a lot of money, and we don't. That's not us. So that kind of just went away, and it was like, oh, what a great experience. And then the last 5 years, I tapped in with people out here who are from Texas and other places in the South, who would come to LA, who had horses out here in horse country, like outside of LA. And it just reconnected me to something that had nothing to do with art, that was about kind of bringing your ego down and doing something that is a little terrifying and relinquishing a little bit of control. And it's really good for people who have ADHD because you got to use all your limbs. You can't think about anything else. And it gave me something to do outside of obsessively thinking about art all the time, which can get a little destructive, I think, for folks, especially when it was a survival technique when you were younger, and then it becomes your career. Right. You have to sort of look away from
Make the money. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it's a good way to disconnect, to recharge, which is why I think storytelling is really important. So no matter what you're doing, you're actually connecting all the things that you love in healthy ways. I didn't really go into it, but there's a painting in here from Taylor Smalls because I do love art, and it's Joyce Gordon of Joyce Gordon Galleries here in Oakland, California. And so there's, so much storytelling goes into that. On my shirt, I didn't do my image description. It says white supremacy is all around, which is the title of my book. But there's two calla lilies here. It's designed with Phil America, an artist.
Where do we get the merch?
It's coming to you. Don't worry.
Where's the merch? I gotta be. Here's the thing. Let's be clear. I can't wear that.
No. But I have other merch for you. But it's great. But I designed this with Phil America, and Phil America is from Sacramento. He's an incredible designer, artist, and all the things. But the calla lilies represent the flower of the Black Panthers.
Yeah.
And the font represents the Black Panther. So I use this on the back. It says, "'Tis the season to dismantle white supremacy," with like this kente cloth print. So I have this white sweater on, ripped jeans, and snakeskin boots, and blonde braids, and brown sugar skin. And the studio that people know. But I'm saying that to say that I think you are so important for so many reasons, because you're able to use your intersectionality to go out in the world and hold people accountable in so many ways. So Rafa, thank you for doing that.
Tell me more about that. What does that mean?
Well, because you have this incredible background, and you are a Cuban person, you are an Irish person, you can pass as white, you can pass as Latino, you can pass, there's so many things that you can do. And in your spaces, it's always about people, which I think is incredible. So thanks for that. And then you just casually drop bars. You're like, oh, by the way, you forgot that I gave you this song that was a banger. So here you go.
Yeah. I mean, that is the conundrum, right? It's like, it's not, and I get very like Like I don't say things about myself like I'm white passing. I just think that's white. I just think
No, I know,
like,
but like, I
you
mean,
know,
I have my light skin privilege, my light eyes, so I use
sure,
it,
yeah, and I think
and my award-winning cleavage.
well, I think that's the like being Spanish and Irish is like a weird combination because it gives you a proximity to two things, right? It gives you a proximity to
Colonization. No, I'm sorry.
well, yeah, it gives you obviously it's not a proximity to colonization, it's right there.
Yeah, right.
But it also because this country, especially right now, is like deeply at war with Spanish speaking people, and not with any specificity whatsoever. And it's been, and then the decades prior to that in my life, this mass confusion about even what any of the terminology around the many communities that represents before we even get into the colorism or like the
Oh
tiered
yeah.
levels of society in that. So you have this sort of leg in to uh to a marginalized group in the country that is nearly a majority. And then
Yeah.
also the Irish who like are a really interesting group of people, are this strange group of whites who've been attacked by the Brits, colonized
Right.
by the Brits. And so then you meet like old school Irish people and like they talk like people of color. It's very
They
like
do because there's a
shared
shared lived
thing.
experience. So I just really appreciate you like knowing that about yourself, bringing that together, going into places and places, and I just want you to keep being amazing.
Oh, I love that. I
This is
love that
what's
shirt.
this one's coming to
I
you.
want that keep being amazing shirt. I love it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You and your lady are getting one. So, and everyone else, you can just go and buy one from the website. But I just want to say thank you so much for this time today, and I could talk to you forever. And I look forward to seeing you soon. So,
Yeah, this was
thanks so
awesome.
much. Yeah. Big love and gratitude to our guests for showing up with truth, humor, and of course, humanity. If this conversation moved you, you gotta like it, you gotta share it, you have to talk about it, bring it into your circles, spaces, and places, because that's how change multiplies. You can catch more episodes wherever you get your podcasts and watch the full series produced by CL Media and me on the CL Media YouTube channel. Now, what is that YouTube channel? What you need to subscribe to so you can get more of this. But until next time, stay curious, find your joy, and keep being amazing.